All right, welcome back. We're going to take a look at the descending tetrachord, rule of the octave, in minor, because something really colorful and interesting and cool happens in minor. So to our whiteboard. So we're talking about the descending tetrachord in minor, which of course in minor we want to use do, te, le, sol. Fantastic. And of course we'll start with the three-voice texture first, because we learned our three-voice textures. We know do and sol take 5 threes. I know I've got passing 6 threes in between. Just sounds absolutely fantastic that way. All right, let's add in our parallel third voice. Me, re, do, ti. You know, do a little bit of a decoration there would sound fantastic. But there's our parallel third line. And then just filling things in here. The sol is the 5th of the chord. As the bass steps down, we stay on the sol to become the 6th and parallel 6th. Sol, sol, fa, sol. And this is our classic three-voice Phrygian half cadence. Do, ti, do, re, fa, sol, me, re, do, te, le, sol. Do, me, re, do, ti. Just great lines. Do, sol, sol, fa, sol. And of course we call this a Phrygian half cadence. Why? Because it sounds like in the key of sol, it sounds like it's going ra, do, tenor is in the bass. It sounds like it's going fa, mi, altizan's up top, and it sounds like it's going in this voice te, do, in the key of sol. Now, and you know, this is Phrygian because I would have ra do and te do in the Phrygian mode. Usually we have ti do and re do. But what I can do is I can make this a little bit more colorful, a little bit more interesting. And of course we did this in our rule of the octave video that we just saw. And what I did was I decided I wanted to go not te do at the end, but I wanted to have that half step in there. Ti do. Now of course to make a half step, not fa sol, but fi sol. Sol, sol, fi, sol. And something really, really cool happens as I raise that 6 in minor. And that has to do with the major, minor, or augmented intervals here. And la to fa, let's just start in major. La to fa, which is to say re to te, is a minor 6th. And in a cadence, which is really what we have happening here, our Phrygian half cadence, we decided, you know, centuries ago that we liked the sound of the major 6th. We liked the sound of not la sol, which sounds like re do, and fa sol, which sounds like te do, but we decided we liked the sound of re do and ti do. And so we prefer the major 6th. And fi to la is our major 6. And you'll find that major 6 happens all sorts of places in cadences. And it basically, la sol sounds like re do in the key of sol. Fi sol sounds like ti do in the key of sol. And so that creates that nice major 6. But now in minor what happens is as I keep that fi, so I get the ti do. In minor I don't have la sol, I have le sol. And of course if I take a major 6th and I make it larger, we've created what we call an augmented 6th. And so we now refer to this chord here as an augmented 6th chord. And the magic notes of the augmented 6th chord, of course, are the le sol and the fi sol, that double half-step resolution into the sol. It's a really powerful resolution, very colorful, or the Greek word for colorful, chromatic. That's where chromatic harmony comes from. It's colorful harmony. And so there it is. It's an augmented 6th chord. This particular one, by the way, we talk about augmented 6th chords. We'll bring this up again next year. But augmented 6th chords, some of them we tend to give names. This is the +6-3. It's a very simple chord. it has lay and fi, and then it only has one other note. It has do, and there is a simple people. They love good simple food, good beautiful song, and their culture has a lot of dough in it. Dough, of course, playing with the pun, dough, and that is to say Italy. You've got pizza dough, you've got bread dough, pasta dough. It's just absolutely fantastic, and I love Italy. And so this simple chord that has just dough, we refer to as the Italian augmented sixth chord. Italian. Roman numerals, you would label that as an Italian +6 for the augmented sixth. Sounds absolutely fantastic. Now, of course, when we go to a four-voice texture, we don't use the 6/3. We like to use oftentimes we'll use the 6/4/3. We talked about that in the rule of the octave. Well, in minor, that 6/4/3, because we're going lay sol, let's add in our other voice, do, re, re, re. We now have, in major, we have that +6/4/3, but now in minor, that +6/4/3 makes it an augmented sixth. So it's another type of augmented sixth chord. And this is a pungent chord, let me tell you. It's just such a strong chord. Because I want you to look at the intervals involved here. Do to fi, which sounds like a fa and a ti, resolving. That's a tritone. We have a tritone here. Do and fi. That's a tritone. But in minor, lay and re, that's our other tritone. So this chord actually has, in fact, 2 tritones in it. That's a pretty pungent, strong-smelling, strong-sounding chord, right? Oh, there's a culture in Europe that is known. They like to smoke. They don't always like to bathe. They like strong cheeses, kind of pungent and stinky, right? Yeah, French. So this is the French augmented sixth chord. I'm sorry, for the cultural jokes, but it will help you remember these. So the French, and the cool thing about French here, using the French augmented sixth chord as the base of our thing here, is actually right here in the word French. There it is, re. There's a re in the word French, and so that will help you remember that the augmented sixth chord that has re in it, and of course do and re at the same time, is dissonant, it's pungent, 2 tritones, stronger, pungent. This is our French augmented sixth chord. The French augmented sixth, just like that. Now, that's really what we're going to talk about today. There's a third type of augmented sixth chord, but we're going to hold off on introducing it until we do the substitute that is necessary to make that happen. So for today, we're just going to learn our Italian and our French augmented sixth chord, and it's usually used in a 3-voice texture. The Italian, it's a simple version, and it just has the do. The French is a lovely 4-voice texture, and it has that do and re at the same time, makes it a strong, pungent chord. If you wanted to, you could do a 4-voice Italian augmented sixth. You would have twice as much do. You got 2 pizzas. Do, re. Oh, I couldn't go do, re, because me, re, do, ti. I'd have to revoice all sorts of things. That's why we don't tend to use it as often in this context. But somehow I'd come into it, and I would get a do, re happening here. So one do going to re, one going to ti. Doesn't work the way I wrote it because of these parallel octaves right here, re, do. So really the Italian's a better chord to use in the 3-voice texture. But there's an introduction to augmented sixth chords. It's just a really cool thing that happens on that +6/3 or the +6/4/3 above, not la in minor, but lay in minor. And it really sticks that Phrygian half cadence and makes it very cool.